We've all been there, lying in bed, exhausted, but your mind just won't stop. It replays conversations, plans tomorrow's tasks, or simply buzzes with that restless energy that keeps sleep just out of reach. Your body is ready for rest, but your mind has other plans. Millions of people experience this every single night, and if you're one of them, you know how frustrating it can be. The good news is that falling asleep isn't about forcing your mind to shut off. It's actually about learning to work with your mind, to guide it gently toward rest. Over the next 15 minutes, I'm going to share with you a complete system for calming your mind so you can fall asleep fast. These aren't just tips, they're scientifically backed techniques that address why your mind stays active at night and how to change that pattern. Before we get to the solutions, let's understand what's actually happening when you can't sleep. Your brain has a natural alertness system, and when you're lying in bed unable to sleep, that system is still activated. This can happen for several reasons. First, your nervous system might still be in a state of arousal from the day's stress and stimulation. Even if you feel physically tired, your brain is producing cortisol and adrenaline that keep you alert. Second, your mind may have learned to associate your bed with wakefulness rather than sleep, especially if you've spent many nights tossing and turning. And third, the very act of trying to force yourself to sleep creates a paradox that actually keeps you awake. Here's something important to understand. Sleep is not something you do, it's something you allow to happen. You cannot force yourself to sleep any more than you can force yourself to sneeze. What you can do is create the conditions that allow sleep to arrive naturally. That's what this approach is all about. The first step to calming your mind is actually to calm your body. Your mind and body are deeply connected, and when your body is tense, your mind cannot fully relax. Right now, as you're listening to this, I want you to do a quick scan of your body. Notice where you're holding tension. Is it in your jaw, your shoulders, your hands, your legs? Let's release that tension systematically. Start by taking a deep breath in through your nose for 4 counts. Hold it for a moment. Now exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 counts, making the exhale longer than the inhale. This is crucial because the long exhale activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the system responsible for rest and relaxation. Do this 3 more times. Breathe in for 4, hold briefly, and out for 6. With each exhale, imagine tension draining out of your body like water flowing downhill. This type of breathing sends a direct signal to your brain that it's safe to relax. Your brain monitors your breathing constantly, and slow, deep breathing tells it that there's no threat present, no reason to stay alert. Now, let's add progressive muscle relaxation. Starting with your feet, tense the muscles as tightly as you can for 5 seconds, then release completely. Feel the difference between tension and relaxation. Move up to your calves, tense and release. Your thighs, tense and release. Your buttocks, your stomach, your chest, your hands, your arms, your shoulders, your neck, and finally, your face. Scrunch everything up tight, then let it all go. This technique works because it gives your mind something specific to focus on while simultaneously teaching your body what deep relaxation feels like. Your muscles are now softer, your breathing is slower, and you've taken the first important step towards sleep. Now that your body is more relaxed, let's address the mental chatter. Racing thoughts at bedtime usually fall into a few categories: planning and problem solving, worrying about the future, replaying past events, or just random mental noise. The key to handling all of these is not to fight them, but to redirect your attention. Here's a powerful technique called cognitive shuffling. Your brain stays active at night partly because it's looking for patterns and trying to solve problems. We're going to give it a different, meaningless task that satisfies this need without keeping you awake. Think of a neutral word, something completely boring and unrelated to your life. Let's use the word bedtime. Now, for each letter in that word, think of as many objects as you can that start with that letter, and briefly visualize each one. B. Ball, banana, bicycle, book, button, bench, bridge. E. Elephant, envelope, egg, elevator. Keep your visualizations brief and simple, just a quick mental image of each object. This works because you're occupying the problem-solving part of your brain with a task that's engaging enough to hold your attention, but boring enough that it doesn't stimulate you. There's no emotional content, no connection to your life, nothing to worry about or figure out. When you run out of words for one letter, move to the next. If your mind wanders to other thoughts, that's completely normal. Simply notice it and gently return to the word game. Another powerful technique is the mental body scan, but done differently than before. This time, instead of tensing and relaxing, you're simply moving your attention slowly through your body with pure awareness. Start at the top of your head. Notice any sensations there without trying to change anything. Move your attention to your forehead, your eyes, your cheeks, your jaw. Continue down through your neck, shoulders, arms, chest, belly, hips, legs, all the way to your toes. Move slowly, spending several seconds on each area. This gentle movement of attention is naturally calming and often leads directly into sleep. If worries or plans keep intruding, try this approach. Instead of trying to push thoughts away, acknowledge them briefly and postpone them. Say to yourself mentally, "That's a thought about work. I'll think about that tomorrow." Or, "That's a worry. I'll deal with that in the morning when I have more resources." You're not dismissing these thoughts as unimportant. You're simply agreeing with yourself that now is not the time to engage with them. This acknowledgement and postponement is much more effective than trying to suppress thoughts, which usually makes them stronger. Here's another mental technique that many people find incredibly effective. Imagine a simple, repetitive scene that requires just enough attention to occupy your mind, but not enough to stimulate it. Picture yourself walking down a long, quiet hallway with doors on either side. Behind each door is a different, boring scene: an empty room, a slow-moving stream, a blank wall, clouds drifting by. Open each door in your mind, look at the scene for a moment, then close it and move to the next door. The key is keeping the images simple and emotionally neutral. Or try counting backward from 300 by threes: 300, 297, 294, 291. This occupies your mental processor just enough to prevent other thoughts from taking hold, but it's tedious enough that you won't stay engaged with it for long. If you lose track of where you are, just start over or pick any number. The goal isn't to finish the countdown. It's to give your mind something to do while sleep approaches. Let's talk about what to do when specific types of thoughts won't leave you alone. If you're replaying a conversation or event from the day, imagining what you should have said or done differently, recognize this as your brain's attempt to process and learn from experience. Thank your mind for trying to help you improve, then tell yourself that you've already learned what you need from this experience and you can let it go now. If the same thought keeps returning, that's okay. Each time it comes back, simply repeat this process without frustration. If you're making mental to-do lists or planning tomorrow, this is your brain trying to ensure you don't forget important things. The solution is to externalize this. Before bed, keep a notepad nearby where you can quickly jot down anything important that comes to mind. Once it's written down, your brain can relax because the information is captured. You don't need to hold on to it anymore. If anxiety or worry is keeping you awake, remember that nighttime anxiety is almost always worse than daytime anxiety. Everything feels more threatening and unsolvable in the dark when you're tired. Recognize that your nighttime perspective is distorted. The problems you're worried about will look different in the morning. For now, you can use a technique called worry postponement. Designate a specific time tomorrow, maybe 10 a.m., when you'll allow yourself to worry about this issue properly. Tell yourself, "I will think about this thoroughly at 10 a.m. tomorrow when I'm rested and thinking clearly. For now, I'm setting this aside." Now let's talk about your relationship with sleep itself. Many people who struggle with sleep have developed what's called sleep anxiety, where the fear of not sleeping actually prevents sleep. If this is you, you might notice your heart rate increasing as bedtime approaches, or feeling a sense of dread when you get into bed. This creates a vicious cycle where bed becomes associated with struggle rather than rest. The way to break this cycle is to change your attitude toward being awake. Instead of fighting wakefulness, accept it temporarily. Tell yourself, "If I'm awake right now, that's okay. My body will sleep when it's ready. For now, I'm just going to rest comfortably." This paradoxical approach removes the pressure and anxiety that keep you awake. You're giving yourself permission to be awake, which ironically makes it easier to fall asleep. Here's a powerful reframe. You don't actually need to sleep right this moment. Your body is designed to handle occasional nights of poor sleep. Even if you don't sleep well tonight, you'll be okay tomorrow. This might sound counterproductive, but removing the urgency and catastrophizing around sleep is often what allows sleep to come. When you stop treating sleeplessness as a crisis, it loses its power over you. Let's also address your physical environment, because your mind cannot fully calm if your body is uncomfortable. Your room should be cool. Somewhere between 60 and 67 degrees Fahrenheit is ideal for most people. Your brain needs to drop its core temperature to initiate sleep, and a cool room facilitates this. If your room is too warm, your body struggles to reach the temperature needed for sleep. Darkness is also crucial. Even small amounts of light can suppress melatonin production. If you can see your hand in front of your face in your bedroom, it's too bright. Consider blackout curtains or an eye mask. Sound matters too. If you live in a noisy environment, white noise or a fan can mask disruptive sounds and provide a consistent auditory backdrop that your brain can tune out. Now let's talk about timing. If you've been lying in bed for more than 20 minutes and you're still wide awake with an active mind, it's actually better to get up briefly. This might seem counterintuitive, but staying in bed while wide awake strengthens the association between your bed and wakefulness. Get up, go to another room with dim lighting, and do something quiet and boring. Read something unstimulating, do some gentle stretching, or sit quietly. The key is to avoid screens, bright lights, or anything engaging. When you start to feel sleepy, return to bed. This helps maintain the association between your bed and sleep. Here's a technique that works especially well if you tend to wake up in the middle of the night with an active mind. It's called the 4-7-8 breathing technique. Breathe in through your nose for a count of 4. Hold your breath for a count of 7. Exhale completely through your mouth for a count of 8. Repeat this cycle 4 times. This pattern of breathing is powerfully relaxing because the extended exhale and breath hold activate your parasympathetic nervous system even more strongly than regular deep breathing. Many people fall asleep before completing the 4th cycle. Let's talk about visualization, but in a specific way that's designed for sleep. Don't try to visualize anything exciting or complex. Instead, imagine the simplest, most boring scene you can think of. A white wall, a gray sky, a still pond, a blank piece of paper. Keep your mental image as simple and unchanging as possible. If your mind tries to add details or create a story, gently return to the simple, boring image. This works because complexity stimulates the mind, while simplicity allows it to disengage. Another approach is to use what's called sensory focus. Pay attention to one sense at a time in the simplest way possible. For 30 seconds, focus only on what you can hear. Don't analyze the sounds, just notice them. Then switch to what you can feel: the texture of your sheets, the weight of your blanket, the temperature of the air. Then what you can see with your eyes closed: the darkness, maybe some floating colors or shapes. Cycle through your senses slowly. This grounds you in the present moment and away from the thoughts that keep you awake. If you find yourself getting frustrated because these techniques aren't working immediately, that frustration itself is keeping you awake. Remember, you're not trying to force sleep to happen. You're creating conditions that allow sleep to arrive naturally. Every technique you try is helping, even if you don't feel sleepy yet. Your nervous system is gradually downregulating. Your mind is slowly disengaging from active thinking. Trust the process. Here's something important to understand about how sleep works. You don't gradually get sleeper and sleeper until you cross some threshold into sleep. Instead, sleep comes in waves. You might feel alert for a while, then notice a wave of drowsiness. If you miss that wave by checking the time or engaging with a thought, you might feel alert again for a bit. Another wave will come. The key is to stay relaxed and receptive so that when the next wave of drowsiness arrives, you can ride it into sleep. As we come toward the end of this script, let's bring together everything we've covered. Your body is relaxed from the breathing and muscle relaxation. Your mind has tools to redirect racing thoughts through cognitive shuffling, body scanning, or simple counting. You understand that sleep is something you allow rather than force. You've released the anxiety around whether you'll sleep tonight. You're simply resting comfortably. And if sleep comes, wonderful. If not, you're still giving your body and mind the rest they need. Remember, changing your sleep patterns takes practice. If tonight doesn't go perfectly, that's completely normal and expected. Each night you practice these techniques, you're training your mind and body to relax more easily. You're weakening the old patterns of nighttime anxiety and strengthening new patterns of calm. Be patient with yourself. Progress isn't always linear, but it is happening. One more thing before you drift off. Tomorrow, when you wake up, regardless of how well you slept, start your day with natural light. Go outside or sit by a window within the first hour of waking. This exposure to morning light helps regulate your circadian rhythm and makes falling asleep easier the following night. Everything is connected. Your only job right now is to rest. Let your body sink into the mattress. Let your breathing be slow and easy. Let your thoughts drift by like clouds. You don't need to hold on to anything. You don't need to figure anything out. You don't need to be anywhere or do anything. This moment is just for rest. Sleep will come when it's ready, and when it does, you'll be ready to receive it. Rest now. Just rest.